Hey everybody, it's Pax. Welcome back to the campaign play-along. We're continuing through Return to the Circle Undone with Trish and Diana, and Return to For the Greater Good. Let's take a look at the tarot choice for this scenario. We chose to keep Strength upright, meaning both Diana and Trish will get to play an asset from their opening hand at -2 cost. This should be pretty good in making sure we get some good tempo going into this scenario. I don't think this is enough to turn this into like an XP farming session with that bonus XP they add from farming keys, but nevertheless, I think it sets us up for a bit of an easier go of what can be a frustrating scenario chasing a bunch of losers around the mansion. Let's take a look at our deck upgrades. For Trish, I'm carrying on with what I had mentioned in my previous video of adding a Leo DeLuca and a Charisma. With all my static boost, extra actions are going to work really well for me, and I'm going to need extra actions to get through the Black Throne to try and outpace those nasty treacheries on that one. Since Trish has no cancels available for her, and Diana only really gets her signature to cancel for Trish. As for Diana, I'm picking up 2 copies of Eldritch Inspiration level 1 and a level 5 Azure Flame. I'm a little worried about this upgrade. It might be a little premature. I'm always nervous picking up Flame 5 without Deny upgraded to level 5, because that lets you do that big like recuperation heal later on in a scenario. After the flames have hit you up a little bit. But I think if I don't get enough XP over the next few scenarios to upgrade at least 1 Deny level 5, I could just pick up a Bulletproof Vest in anticipation of the Black Throne and try and tank health that way a bit more. I'm considering picking up Get Over Here level 2 for the purpose of like yoinking cultists over to me from afar. But otherwise, if XP is too tight on Diana, Trish could spend 2 experience to swap 2 small favors into her deck, which is probably the more likely choice. For the scenario intro, we're obviously enemies of the Lodge. Diana is in full betrayal mode, and I've already kind of used the Tabletop Simulator mod setup bag to do the appropriate version for this, in which you are infiltrating the Lodge. And just a quick once-over on the keys mechanic, because I always forget the exact little niceties of this. If a location with a key on it has no clues, you can take control of it as a free triggered ability. If an enemy with a key on it leaves play, the investigator who caused that enemy to leave play must take control of the key. Some card effects may allow investigators to take control of keys in other ways. As an action ability, an investigator may give any number of keys to another investigator at the same location. So we've got our map set up like this, starting at that Lodge gates. We've got an 8 Doom threshold. When you defeat a Silver Twilight enemy, you leave behind some evidence of the scuffle, move 1 Doom from that enemy at that location to the current agenda. From each enemy at that location to the current agenda. And notably, this is only for Silver Twilight enemies. So normal cultists, not going to count. And then we just need to get 4 clues. And after we evade an enemy, we get to remove all Doom from it. Let's do our opening hands before we get too much farther along. We do have to pull a tarot card from Damned. And unfortunately, Trish has -1 health for now, but that's okay. So let's take a look at our opening hand. 5 cards. Lucky Cigarette Case, Well Connected, Deduction, Hot Streak, and an Ace of Rods. So let's hide that hand. We're probably keeping a lot of this, and this is letting us play an asset from our hand at -2 cost, so we can get this Well Connected into play this Hot Streak, and be crushing tests really early. I'm tempted to just keep this as is, and I think I'm going to, yeah. As for Diana, she gets an Obsessive to repull, but she gets an Arcane Initiate, Dark Prophecy, Clairvoyance, I've Had Worse, Overpower. I think that we're getting rid of 1, 2, because Trish is already set up to investigate fairly competently, and I think that the Arcane Initiate can be made to work, especially with this Ward of Protection that gets a horror on her a bit sooner. Let's see if this is going to do the trick. Last but not least, we've got this Chaos Bag. X is the highest number of Doom on a cultist enemy, which is 0 for a long time. And tablets are -3 if you fail. Place a Doom on the nearest cultist enemy. That's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, but ideally with Diana, we're just going to be killing them. So when the game begins, I think that Trish is going to put this Well Connected into play for free. And unfortunately, Diana's going to put this Arcane Initiate into play for free. But, you got to get something into play for free, right? As for the Return to stuff, there were some changes for locations and stuff like that, but most importantly is this thing I mentioned earlier about the key changes. After all the keys have been put into play, if another effect would cause a set-aside key to be put into play, use another unused positive modifier or negative modifier chaos token instead of putting no key into play. At the end of the scenario, add each positive or negative chaos token controlled by investigator to the victory display. Each one is worth 1 victory. Attach this card to scenario reference as a reminder. I don't think this is going to happen in 2-player. I've not seen it myself playing 2-player, but I guess you never know. Now, as a reminder, enemies cannot spawn at the lodge gates. With a resign action, we have 2 clues here, and we have this ability on the Launch Cellar, which is the only connection at the moment. You cannot enter the Launch Cellar. The lodge gates gains investigators of the Launch Cellar spend 2 clues as a group to reveal the Launch Cellar. So that's how we're going to be getting in. I also forgot that Trish is getting this Ace of Rods into play, obviously, right? Like that's just gonna happen. So we'll start with Trish. So for 1, 2, 3, we'll play this hot streak to gain 10. So we gain 7 total, bringing us up to 14 resources. We're gonna spend 2 for a lucky cigarette case, and then we're gonna investigate the location with the well connected, getting +3, committing the deduction. Let's just get all the clues off of this real quick. 0. We get both the clues. Draw a card with the lucky cigarette case. Nice. And we make out like a bandit. Sweet. For Diana, I guess we'll... I think I forgot to shuffle this. We'll look at the top 3 cards to see if there's a spell in them. I won't stop doing this. Like, you can't make me stop doing it. Okay, so we got an Eldritch Inspiration. That's fine. We do need other stuff, but that's fine. So we'll go ahead and use her first action to spend those 2 clues from Trish, which just reveals the Launch Cellar. So it's a 3-shroud location with nothing on it. Fine. Once we get into here, we can't enter a lodge catacombs unless you control a key. So we need to like head this way to get a key and then head back, kind of thing. But I think for now, we're just going to put our ritual candles into play for 1 cost, and then we're going to draw a card. Another I've had worse. Okay, all my cancels. Would love to not have a cancel. But the big thing is that I want to be able to like walk in and punch a cultist if one spawns, I think is kind of the play. And staying at the same location with Trish means that there's more empty spaces for them to spawn into that are a bit closer together. Our first upkeep phase, Trish gets the tower. Okay, so we'll have to burn this Ace of Rods nice and early, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. And then Diana gets another Ward of Protection. She is just so loaded up with spells for canceling right now. We get 1 Doom out of 8, which is technically 2 out of 8 because of our Initiate. And then Trish gets Vice and Villainy, attached to an asset you control. When the counter deck runs out of cards, discard the attached asset. Well, I think we put that on our lucky cigarette case, because it's going to take a while for that to empty, and frankly, this Ace of Rods is going, and I only have the 1 well connected in the deck, so I'd really like to not lose that if I can avoid it. There is always the option of canceling that with this Dark Insight, but I think I'd just as soon have Diana use her cancel on something else for her. Oh, Vassal Keeper, any Sanctum location. So he spawns down here at the Lodge Catacombs. That's a pain in the ass. So he spawns down here in this Sanctum location, with 2 Doom and a random set-aside key on him. It's the Elder Thing key. So I need to get a key and then get down there as quick as I can, because I'm already at 4 Doom. I guess there's a bit of a question of, again, do I want to get the Dark Insight on this guy? And I'm a little hesitant to, just because of the fact that he can, like, not show up, and it can be a pain in the ass. But also, like, can I actually even go kill him quickly enough? I don't know. That's a really tricky one. I think ultimately, though, I kind of have to get Diana a little set up, so I am going to spend 2 for the Dark Insight to gain a resource and draw a card. Avi Enchanted Blade, of course, off of that. And we are going to shuffle him back in, and we'll not have put that key. Okay, let's try that again. We'll not have put that key into play. And then just for shits and giggles, we'll use her top 3 look for a spell and flub. Okay, for Trish, I think that she's going to take a move action, and then take another move action over to the lobby. This one does get a random set-aside key on it, so this one gets the tablet. We've got to get all the clues off of here. So first action, we'll investigate with the well-connected for 5, 6, 7 against the shroud value, -2. So that's 5 against 3, which lets me draw a card from lucky cigarette case, burning the midnight oil. That's pretty good. And get the clue off the location. One clue off the location. And then I may as well pop the Ace of Rods, removing it, getting +2 to each of my skills. Investigating again. And I will use a burning the midnight oil for 2 resources. Do I want to ready the well-connected to get this? So I'll be at 6 against 3. I think 6 against 3 is good enough for this one. Yeah, -1, so I get the other clue. And if I want to, I can get this key. And I can't remember if there's effects that like grab the keys off me and stuff like there are in Innsmouth. So I'll just take it. It's fine. Now Diana, she is going to move down. And then she's going to play the Enchanted Blade, which is going to take up 2 slots. 1, 2, 3. She'll be there. I guess there's a question of whether it's okay for an enemy to spawn, and I think it is because Trish is going to move anyways. But I suppose for my last action I could just move here. And that way if an enemy spawns, I can force it here. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move there with Diana. And if I have to come back, I can. Okay, so for Trish, upkeep, she gets a Hawkeye folding camera. That's good to get that it's a bit sooner. We have cleared 2 locations, but getting that willpower will be nice. And then for Diana, she gets the Twilight Blade. Okay, so Ritual Candle plays a little bad getting the Twilight Blade, but we've got a bunch of cancels. We can start stacking, and then we can start cycling them. 2 out of 8 Doom. Again, that's 3 because of the Initiate. And then over here on Trish, we're going to get a locked door as the location with the most clues without a locked door attached. Sometimes the game just gives you friendly things, and I love it. And then Diana gets Mark of the Order. Surge. Check each investigator that controls a key. So we will lose 2 cards at random from hand if we don't cancel this from Trish. But I think we are going to cancel this. It still surges, but I don't really... You can lose this from random, and I think I'm actually just going to accept that. Yeah, we're going to accept that. See if she can't get rid of it. Nice. Nice. It sucks a bit to lose in the shadows, but losing the tower at random, we'll take that. And that surges into Call to the Order. Find the 2 topmost cultist enemies in the encounter discard pile and spawn them. If no cultist enemies are spawned, surge. Mysterious Chanting. Place 2 Doom on the nearest cultist. If there are no cultist enemies in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a cultist enemy and draw it. I think this time we will finally play the Ward of Protection, taking a horror onto the Initiate, and gaining a resource and a card. That's a Steadfast. That's good. That gets discarded, and then we'll use the Initiate to look at the top 3 cards of the deck for a spell. We get our level 3 Azure Flame. Okay, that's a pretty good spot to be in, I think. Okay, so like I said with Trish, we're going to take 2 moves. We're going to head down to the Lodge Catacombs. When it's revealed, put the set-aside Inner Sanctum and each of the set-aside Sanctum doorway locations into play. So we've got our 3 Sanctum doorways. One's added from Return 2, and the Inner Sanctum, which we need a cultist key to enter. And we'll just take the time now to play that Hawkeye folding camera, and hopefully we can get some stuff going there. Now, as for Diana, I think Diana is just going to come play Bodyguard a little bit. So 1, 2 moves. 1, 2 moves to meet up with Trish. And I think she's going to walk into one of these and try and get some more information. So she'll move into this one. After this is revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a cultist enemy and spawn it in the holding cells. Shuffle the encounter deck. Fine. So we're going to choose to spawn the Cell Keeper with Diana. After he enters play, you place 2 Doom on him and a random set-aside key. And we get the Elder Thing. The enemy phase is going to happen. He's going to attack us for 2 horror, for which we are going to play an I've Had Worse, putting it under her, gaining a resource and drawing a card for it, putting Obsessive into play, and gaining 2 resources as well from the I've Had Worse itself. So we'll get an upkeep with Trish for a Nimble. We'll get an upkeep for Diana for a Dodge. And then we'll be at 3, plus 1 from Initiate, plus 2 from the Cell Keeper for 6 out of 8 Doom already. Let's see what we get for Trish. We get Impending Evils. You must either take 1 damage and 1 horror, or put Impending Evils into play next to the agenda deck, and it gains Surge. I think we're going to be taking a damage and a horror off of that one. Not too shabby. I quite like this as a replacement for Ancient Evils because 1-1 is often a lot easier to stomach than losing an entire round. And then for Diana, we get a Vice and Villainy, which I think we're just going to straight up cancel as well. We've got our Azure Flame. We're good on the Initiate, I think. I think this just gets canceled, so we're a little more boosted. So, by the way, we are at 4 willpower, and we'll go ahead and just play this Ward of Protection, killing off the Arcane Initiate to gain a resource and draw a card, another Eldritch Inspiration, and cancel that altogether. So we're going to go ahead with Trish first. She's going to move into the holding cells. She's going to take and investigate with the well-connected used up, putting her at 4, 5, 6, 7 against 1, a 0, drawing a card from the Lucky Cigarette case, and then automatically evading the Jailkeeper, which clears the 2 Doom from him because of the ability on the act, and gaining a clue. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Leo DeLuca, getting a free action back. And then we're just going to investigate again. 4 against 1. I think 4 against 1 is good enough. A -2, so we get the last clue off the location. We get to put a resource on our Hawkeye folding camera. And I think we're pretty happy about all of that. Now, Diana, unfortunately, does have Obsessive, so she is going to have to lose a card at random. I really hope it's not the Twilight Blade. A dodge is very permissible to have lost. We're going to go ahead and dunk on this guy. Full Enchanted Blade swing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for 3 damage. A -3, I get a +1 to that. We definitely wallop him for what we needed. And this guy gets defeated, and we get this Elder Thing key from him. And then I think we're just going to go ahead and get rid of the Obsessive. A little slow play, but not the biggest deal in the world. Okay, upkeep for Trish. She gets a Working a Hunch. That'll be really good for when her weakness pops up inevitably. And then upkeep for Diana. That gets her terrible secret. And we're in a really unfortunate position where we have to lose some of these and take a little bit of horror, I think. Yeah, no, you definitely can't cancel the horror with I've Had Worse, which is a bummer. So I'm going to have to lose 2 of these. I think I'm going to lose the Dark Insight. And I think I'm going to lose a Ward of Protection. No, I'm going to... Let me rethink about this. I'm going to lose the 2 Ward of Protections, and I'm going to keep the Dark Insight. I'm going to take 2 horror. So we will have just lost 2 of our willpower that we've stacked up to this point, but that's okay. That's not. It's a bit of a hit, but it's not terrible. Okay, 4 out of 8 Doom. Encounter card for Trish is an Acolyte spawned at an empty location. Gets a Doom. This is who we're looking for Diana to kill. Oh, I forgot to get this clue when I got that last one from Trish. Oopsies. And then for Diana, we get the Wizard of the Order at any empty location. At the end of the Mythos phase, place a Doom on the Wizard of the Order. Okay. A little bit more of a problem. Let's shove the Wizard of the Order down here, and hopefully we can get both of these guys in one turn. Okay, Diana's going to go first. She's going to take 1 move to the Lodge Catacombs, which engages the Acolyte. She's going to take a swing with the Enchanted Blade, not even powered up. We'll be at 5 against 3. We'll spend 1 for a Dark Prophecy to reveal 5 tokens. We get a Skull, which we can get +1 to, so that's a 0 in effect, and that just defeats this Acolyte. And since he does not have the Silver Twilight Lodge trait, it doesn't matter that we've done a kill on him. This goes here, we get a card and a resource back. Our willpower goes up to 4. And then we're just going to go ahead and play for 1, 2, 3 our Azure Flame to get that out. Trish is going to take a move. Whoops, I moved the wrong one first, but you know what was supposed to happen. I think we're just going to let Diana come kill this guy, and we're going to come into this location as her second action. Ooh, the Ceremony Room. Okay, shit. When the round ends, each investigator and each ally asset in the Ceremony Room takes a direct horror. Cancel this effect if an investigator of the Ceremony Room controls the Skull Key. Okay, we might not be able to stick around here. Anyways, that's our second action. I think we're going to investigate once for 5/6 against 3. We'll just do that for 1 clue, a -2. We don't get a Lucky Cigarette case draw off of that, but that's okay. I think we will move out to conserve our health a little bit, though, because I don't really want to be dealing with that much direct horror. Yeah. That seems kind of nasty to have to deal with. So let's do an upkeep on Trish, a manual dexterity, and upkeep on Diana, clairvoyance. We get 5/6 out of 8 doom. Counter card on Trish is going to be the expulsion if there are no cultist enemies in play against Surge. Otherwise, the nearest cultist enemy readies, moves one location at a time, and until it reaches location, engages you, makes an immediate attack. Then place each key you control on that enemy. So he's going to hit me for 1, fortunately. I thought this guy had 2 damage, but then he gets my key. So we'll just put 1 on Leo. That's fine. We do have -1 health. We have to remember that. Why did this get flipped around? Excuse me? Not sure how that happened. Anyways, so that could have been worse. Could have been worse for sure. And then Diana gets Mark of the Order. Each investigator will be losing 3 resources on Diana if we can't cancel this, and we can't by the looks of it, so 1, 2, 3. Then that surges into Beneath the Lodge. If you control at least 1 key, Beneath the Lodge gains peril and skill test gets +1 difficulty. Test 3, for each point you fail by, you either lose 1 clue or take 1 horror. So this is going to be a big horror bump if I fail this. I can cancel some of it with an I've had worse, but that is going to be a pain in the ass. So 3 against 4. Do I want to toss a Clairvoyance or an Eldritch Inspiration into this? Not particularly. I could toss the Clairvoyance in, I bet. Let's toss a Clairvoyance in. That way we're 4 against 4. -1. Okay, so we do take 1 horror. And you know what? I'll just use the I've had worse. Gain 2 resources, gain another resource and draw a card from Diana's ability and get up to 5 willpower. That's fine. And then this guy gets 1 more doom on him. We're at a nasty doom amount. Okay, I think on Trish, what we're actually going to do with her is we're going to do a big evade on this guy. We're going to be 4, 5, 6, 7 against 2. And I kind of just want to, like, piece the hell out of here. Head over to the other side of the map, see if I can get some more keys. That is a -2. So I'm at 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 5 against 2, so I succeed by 3. I get the draw from Lucky Cigarette Case. I get the draw from the Manual Dexterity, and I get to move 3 from the Nimble. This guy's evaded, which removes both of his doom. So that's not quite so pressing. He'll be at the location here, but I get to take 3 moves with that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, and head into the lounge here. That's going to be 2 Shroud, 4 clues after the lounge is revealed. Put the set-aside vault and library locations into play. Put the set-aside August Lundqvist asset into play in the lounge. Place 1 random set-aside key on him. We get these locations into play, and August comes into play with a cultist on him. So that's back at the Inner Sanctum. That's kind of a pain in the ass, but I guess it's okay. So we have 4 clues here, and he has this ability. Investigators at his location can spend 2 per investigator's clues as a group. To parlay him, each investigator who spent at least 1 clue must either take a damage or horror, remove him from the game, and take control of his key. So, not too bad. I think in the interest of having enough clues both to do his ability and to like advance the act when I'm ready, I'm just going to start grabbing some clues off of here. So we're going to be investigating 4, 5, 6, 7 against 2. That's a clue. And then we'll investigate 4, 5, 6 against 2 with a perception. That's a clue. And we get to draw a card for the other perception. Not bad. And then last action, we'll investigate again 4, 5, 6, 7 against 2. A -1, so we get to do 2 draws. And then 1 clue again. So we've got a nice amount of clues on Trish. She has just enough to use August here and to do the act. So that's pretty good. As for Diana, I think she's just going to blast this Wizard of the Order with an Azure Flame. Putting her at 7 against 4. Am I happy with 7 against 4? Yeah, 7 against 4 is good enough. 7 against 4. -3, so that's just enough to defeat him. And he goes to hell. And we get the key. I think we're also going to spend the time now, 1, 2, 3, to get this Twilight Blade into play. That's going to let us replay a couple of these, which is going to be helpful for sure. Last but not least, I think we're just going to take a draw action. Wouldn't mind getting an ally, wouldn't mind getting a Rosary. Initiate. Okay, upkeep for Trish. A Cryptic Writings. Upkeep for Diana. A Delay the Inevitable. 6 out of 8 Doom. Counter card for Trish. Call to order. Two topmost cultist enemies in the counter discard pile and spawn them in the empty location with the most remaining clues. So that's going to put the Wizard of the Order and the Acolyte up here in the ceremony room, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. And then Diana is going to get an Impending Evils, which is going to be 1 and 1, or putting this next to the agenda deck and gaining Surge. Now this has Peril. All of that's a little awful. I don't like it too much. But I suppose that if I really had to, the reason I don't like it too much is because I'm at 12 health remaining, and if I take 1 and 1, then my Steadfast has no more room before I lose its icons, and I think the icons on it are pretty good. If I got something underneath this, making it not balanced, oh, it's this thing. Oh, that's funny. I didn't notice that was like precariously balanced there. Anyways, I think I kind of don't want to take a damage in a horror, but I feel like I have to. So that's going to go away. That's fine. I think I'm just going to go ahead with Diana first. It's kind of a pain. I really don't want to have to just go kill these two, but you know, I guess that's what happens. So we're going to walk in and engage both of them. And then we're going to go ahead and use the sword against the Acolyte with an overpower committed to be 7 against 3. An Elder Sign. You can choose a card beneath Diana and add it to your hand. Oh, that's a fun one. I think I'll take an I've Had Worse back and lose a willpower for that. And this guy gets very dead, and I draw a card from this overpower. And then we'll try and blast this guy. And how are we going to blast him? We're going to blast him with the Steadfast off an Azure Flame. Putting us at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 against 4. A -1. So he is also very dead. Now that I've got that I've Had Worse, I can just cancel this easily with the I've Had Worse gaining a bunch of money rather than spending the Delay the Inevitable and kind of needing to get a little bit more in the hole. Also, that Drawn to the Flames can be really helpful for getting these clues off and getting out of here quickly. Now, as for Trish, she is going to do an Investigate here to try and finish this location off just so she can get this Hawkeye folding camera charge done up. So it should be 4, 5, 6, 7 against 2. That's a -3, which gets us to draw a card. And then we'll get the clue, clearing the location, getting a resource off of this as well. So we have 5 intellect now. And then over here, she will spend 4 clues to parlay him, getting his cultist key, and taking a damage and a horror. It'll do 1 horror there and 1 damage there. Next, she'll walk down 1 location to the library, which is a 2-clue location with Victory 1. While you're investigating the library, it gets -3 Shroud if you have that tablet key, which we don't. But last action, we're just going to go ahead and spend 1, 2, 3, 4 from this intel report and get both of those clues. Also, I should have spent the 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get the 2 clues off the location, bringing us up to 7. And that puts us in a position where we just kind of need to come back around to here. We've got the key on Trish. We can advance the act, spawn buddy, and get finished up pretty quickly. Okay, that also actually got us our last one on the Hawkeye folding camera, so we've got +1 sanity too, which is going to be pretty good. So upkeep on Trish, she gets a deduction. Upkeep on Diana, she gets an overpower. That's good to have gotten. 7 out of 8 Doom. And a counter card on Trish is, the Knight of the Inner Circle. Any location connected to yours. The most keys controlled is Prey, Alert, Aloof, Hunter. After you enter the Knight of the Inner Circle's location, or vice versa, test 4. If you fail, he engages you. Okay, that's going to be really good, because it's going to let me, it's a proactive way for me to fire off Nimble, so long as I don't auto-fail it. So that's actually really cool. But importantly, it's the location connected to yours, so he heads up to the lounge. And then Diana gets Mysteries of the Lodge. Place a doom on the nearest cultist enemy. Then until the end of the round, increase the difficulty to fight, evade, or parlay with that enemy by 1. If no doom is placed by this effect, Mysteries of the Lodge gains surge. Well, 1 doom on him isn't going to make a lick of difference because our skulls are going from 0 to -1, which isn't a huge deal. We should be testing up high enough to pass that, and we're in the witching hour anyways, so that doom's going to get removed. So we'll gladly put a doom up here on the Knight of the Inner Circle. Right, I also forgot at the end of the round, she was supposed to play that I've had worse, put that under her, gain 2 resources and draw a card, so she also has a deny existence in hand going into this round. So Trish, we're going to move up 1 location. Maybe we should play the Cryptic Writings first. That would put us over the next threshold for this well-connected. Yeah, I think she plays the Cryptic Writing first for, 3 resources? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And then she moves up. When she moves up, I test 4. If you fail, this guy engages you. So she's testing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 against 4. A -2. We draw a card from Lucky's Cigarette Case. That's a Mr. Rook. We draw a card from the Manual Dexterity for the successful test. That's a Black Book. And then we don't engage him and get 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. Next, we're going to go ahead and spend 3 on the Black Book, getting us an extra intellect and willpower. That should be useful. And we're just going to go ahead and take a resource. I don't really want to draw the Shadow Agents until I have this well-connected ready. I wouldn't mind getting extra Hot Streak out of this deck. The economy on this is a bit lower than I'd hoped. Getting those Cryptic Writings not off of a big Rook draw really slows that down a little bit, but that's okay. I think it's still doing all right. Okay, as for Diana, let's go ahead and we'll play the Initiate, because again, we're in the Witching Hour. We'll use her immediately to look at the top 3 cards for spell. We do see our Sixth Sense. That's nice. That's pretty nice. We'll go ahead and play the Drawn to the Flame, which draws an encounter card. Testing 5 for each point you fail by. Discard the top card of the encounter deck. If a Curse Treachery is discarded by this, deal direct horror to your Investigator and to each of your ally assets. So I think we're going to go ahead and spend 2 for the Delay of the Inevitable, expecting to fail this and to hit a curse. And we'll just test 3 against 5. That's a -1, so we are 2 against 5, so we discard the top 3, and if there's a curse, we get to cancel the horror to us, at least. So 3 cards, we get a Scheme, we get a curse, there it is, and we get this Mysterious Chanting. It does deal 1 direct horror to my ally asset, but 1 to me, which gets canceled by this Delay of the Inevitable, which is going to go under her. Get a card and a resource, and then I get 2 of the clues off the location. Really hate leaving this clue here, but I think we have to move out so as to avoid getting this Initiate killed off. So we'll move back here. Maybe if we play the Sixth Sense and do some Investigates at the Sanctum, we can reach over and grab it or something. I'm not sure. Okay, so the Knight of the Inner Circle is going to hunt this way once. We're going to get upkeep on Trish, which is a Magnifying Glass. A little too late for that. And an upkeep on Diana, which is a Guts, which is fine. We do have a 6th willpower now. So we get that advancement, which is going to discard the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. In player order, each investigator must draw a cultist enemy discarded this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in player order, each investigator must draw a cultist enemy discarded this way. So that goes to Trish. Now, Trish is drawing it, but we're going to toss him into the Inner Sanctum because that's where we're about to head anyways. He does get a Doom on him. That is a clue, not a Doom. Let's get rid of that. He lost his Doom, and Diana's Initiate lost her Doom as well. And then we're at this new 10 Doom threshold. Each Silver Twilight enemy in a Sanctum location loses aloof. When you defeat a Silver Twilight enemy, you leave behind some evidence of the scuffle. Same deal as before. And we do encounter cards for Trish. It's the Expulsion if there are no cultist enemies in play. Otherwise, the nearest cultist enemy readies, moves 1 location at a time until it reaches your location, engages you, and makes an immediate attack. And you place each key you control on that enemy. So this is going to be going on the cultist after he moves in and punches her for 1 damage. Pretty pathetically, but it is what it is. And then Diana gets the Knight of the Inner Circle. Any location connected to yours. Okay. Let's shove him somewhere where he's not that big of a deal. And I guess it doesn't really matter. We're not like getting here and getting out quick enough for this to not be a big deal at all. So I think he has to go to the cellar, and we're going to see what we can do with Trish trying to get past these guys. She's really the only one that can evade them very well. So we might have to like have Diana move in and tank one of them for a turn, and then Trish evade one with the well connected and while we walk away. It's going to be tricky. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and spend our 4 clues to advance the act. If the Inner Sanctum is not in play, you put it into play. Spawn the set-aside Nathan Wick enemy in the Inner Sanctum, the Master of Indoctrination, side face up. Attach the set-aside puzzle box to him. For the remainder of the game, the current act gains after you evade an enemy, remove all doom from it. Place this card next to the act as a reminder. And if Nathan Wick is added to the victory display by any means, choose an investigator to take control of the attached puzzle box and advance. So Nathan Wick, is the Master of Indoctrination. He's a 4/5/3 alert. After you evade him by 3 or more, you steal the puzzle box. Add him to the victory display. He's a victory 1 with 1 and 1. And the puzzle box is this whole dealie that lets you deal with the Spectral Watcher once next scenario. Or light a brazier. Or unlight one, I guess. Is it only unlight? I think it's only unlight. Anyways, point being, it's pretty good for the next scenario to get. This is kind of the objective of the scenario, where you need to get this key back before we can move in. And I'm hoping that Trish can evade him by 3, but with a little bit more money, it's not looking like that's going to be super happening. I'm going to have to let Diana, I think, kill this Acolyte, and then we're going to be a little slow because Diana's going to be holding the key. But I think Diana is going to stab the cultist in the butt with the Twilight Blade and a Guts committed. So we're going to be at 6, 7, 8 against 3. Stabbed in the butt successfully. Drawing a card. And getting the cultist token from him as a result of killing him. You know what? We're just going to go ahead and move in. And we'll just have to be engaged with him. So there's 2 clues there. We do get this last key, which is the skull. It's fine. Nathan is here. He does engage with us. And then I guess we can kind of slow roll him because we've got these dodges. So maybe that's not that big of a deal. Yeah, let's slow roll him. Let's see what happens if we slow roll him a little bit. Let's use the initiative to look at the top cards. See if we get anything. No, we don't get anything. Got a lot of the way through this deck and we haven't seen a rosary to actually draw yet, but that's okay. We're gonna attack him with the Azure Flame. We're going to be at 8 against 4. And that's going to be fine. A -1. So we succeed. We do 2 damage to him. That's good enough. Now, as for Trish, there's a couple of things I could do. I'm thinking that I can move up, grab this clue, move down, and then either use working a hunch to get a clue and evade Nathan so that he doesn't damage Diana, or get both of the clues and get this key. That's all, like, fine. I feel like getting the key is a big deal, but there is something going on in this scenario, which is that I know there's an XP here, and also, if I get this key and come back and get the XP here, I'll have gotten another key with a numerical value on it, and I'll get an extra bonus XP. So how much will I have? I'll have 1 for Nathan. I'll have 2, 3 from there if I can. 4, 5, 6. 6 would be a really nice number to get if I could get it. So I'm tempted to do the play where Trish moves here, and then she's going to investigate with the well connected to be like 6, 7, 8, 9 against 3. A 0, which draws a lucky cigarette case draw and gets that clue. So that's some victory points secured. Whoops, wrong button. And then takes 2 moves back to head back to this location. While she's here, she's going to go ahead and spend 2 for working a hunch to get one of the clues and evade Nathan. I think that's reasonable because then I could put Nathan on to Trish, and she can just do an evade and try and get the evade by 3. She's got more actions than Diana. And that means that even if the evade doesn't succeed by 3, at least I've made it so that like he's kind of incapacitated for the turn, and then Diana can just unload on him. I think that's okay. These 2 are going to hunt there and there. Then we get our upkeep on Trish with an intel report. We get our upkeep on Diana with a rosary. And I think we're all out of clues to gather. So this Sixth Sense is just going away. And like I said, Nathan's hopping over here onto Trish. Now, 1 out of 10 Doom. And remember, the Silver Twilight enemies in the Sanctum lose aloof. So that first Knight of the Inner Circle is going to lose aloof, and he's going to be engaging us pretty much no matter what. So our encounter card for Trish is an Acolyte, any empty location. So let's see where he can go. Notably, this does empty the deck. So we have to do this Vice and Villainy first. When this counter deck runs out of cards, we have to discard the Lucky Cigarette case. So that's a bummer. And then, when this leaves play, I have to test 3 willpower. If I fail, I attach this to another non-permanent asset I control. Now, I'm not getting through this deck again, but this is going to go on to Leo when I fail this in a moment. I'm 1 down, and these are currently at -1s. Putting Doom on the nearest cultist enemy wouldn't be a big deal because it's Nathan. So we're just going to test that. And we get a -4. So this does go and attach to Mr. DeLuca here. Then we have to think about where this Acolyte goes. So that's a pretty big pain in the ass, I think. I'm not really sure where to put him. I feel like I put him like here maybe, and just like kill him on the way. But I might need to put him here instead. I'm a little nervous about where I put him, because these guys are like, they're going to be annoying, and Trish is going to have to do something about them for Diana to be able to walk past. Because this isn't when they're ready, this is just after you enter it. So if Trish walks in first and they don't engage her, Diana still has to pass that, otherwise they engage it. And Diana might be stuck on like killing these guys mode for a really long time, which is a bit of a bummer. And I might be stuck in a situation where I have to take this key and just finish the scenario here. Anyways, we'll see what Diana gets. She gets that call to order. Find the top 2 cultist enemies in the counter discard pile. Spawn them. It's gained Surge because we just reshuffled the deck. And a Wizard of the Order. Wow, that is such a load of horse shit. To the point of me using my Dark Insight to shuffle them back away. Yeah, not having that happen right now. So we'll be at 7 willpower. Okay. Let's do this. We've got Trish on the go here. We're going to go ahead and evade this guy. We're not great on icons. If we had 1 more buck, would be a lot better, which is a bummer. But we're going to evade 4, 5, 6 against 3. And you know what? We'll just take 1 icon from Diana to be 7 against 3. And that way there's like a reasonable odd of evading by 3, but it's not great. But the +1 or the -1 does get it. It's the -3. Don't fail, but he does get evaded. So we'll go ahead and get this last clue. We're going to be at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 against 4. That's the auto fail. We'll do it again. 8 against 4. We get the 0, which gets us that clue. And the skull key from the location. And the last action, we'll just spend 3 for Mr. Rook, because frankly, we could use a little more soak in a moment, once these guys start piling in on us. And now Diana is just going to be getting free reign to wail on Nathan Wick here. So she's going to go ahead and swing with the Enchanted Blade. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 against 4 for 2 damage. That's a -1, so that's 2 damage successfully. And draws a card from Overpower. That's her other Holy Rosary. He's got 1 health remaining, so we're just going to go ahead and take another swing with the Enchanted Blade. And we are going to do what? Are we going to try and use a Dark Insight with a skull? Or excuse me, a Dark Prophecy with a skull? I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to use the Dark Prophecy with a skull. So we'll play the Dark Prophecy for 1, and we're searching for a skull. We're at 5 against 4. Okay, we do get the skull, so we get to pick the skull, put that under us, get a willpower, get a card, and a resource, the other Enchanted Blade, and we deal that last point of damage to him. He's going to get added to the victory display, more commonly referred to as the Hex Zone. And then we're going to immediately choose an investigator to take control of the attached puzzle box and advance. We'll just take the puzzle box onto Diana here. I don't think it really matters. Then we advance. We advance by defeating him. You quickly pry the device from Nathan's hands and flee before you're noticed. If investigators at the same location control the puzzle box and each key, we advance. We can advance. That's what this one has changed, is that we can advance here. But I think the trick is that we're actually not. So we're going to spend 2 for a Holy Rosary. Get our willpower up a little higher. We're going to use the Arcane Initiate to look for 3 for a spell. Somehow that Azure Flame is still not cropped up. So we get an enemy phase. This guy moves in, and then he has a really weird interaction. So he automatically engages... he automatically engages Diana because she has the most keys controlled. But then, after he enters the location, I have to do a test of 4 for each of us. And if you fail, he engages you. So we're going to do that with Diana first while he's engaged with her. She's going to be testing 3 against 4. Auto fail, so he engages her. But then we test it on Trish, which is a 4 against 4. And she passes, so he doesn't engage her. He does indeed go on to Diana, at which point he attacks for 2 damage. But I think that we're going to cancel that with a Deny Existence to just not deal with the fact of taking damage. No, I think we just take the 2, don't we? That's not a big deal. That's really not a big deal. That's fine. We're okay with that. Okay, so upkeep for Trish gets her a lab assistant, and upkeep for Diana gets her an emergency cache. And then we're up to 3 out of 10 Doom because of the Acolyte. And then we get an encounter card for Trish. It's going to be a Doom on that cultist that's engaged with Diana. That's a pain in the ass. Yuck. So he's now a 6/4/4. Yuck. Encounter card for you is the Impending Evils. I think that we put this into play now and get Surge rather than taking damage and horror. I think that's the safer play because this Azure Flame might start kicking my ass. So let's see what else we get. You get a locked door, the location with the most clues. Well, doesn't matter. Let's lock the exit. Okay, so this guy's actually going to be quite a pain in the ass to kill, which is super unfortunate. So let's do the search with the Initiate before we do anything else. I know that I have another Azure Flame in here. Bummer. Anyways, we're going to have to do an attack against this guy with the Azure Flame. So, boom. We'll be at 7, 8, 9 against 6. We'll commit this to be 10 against 6, I guess. -3, so we do 2 damage to him. I get to say do once again. My favorite things to do in the world. But then, unfortunately, I'm just like stabbing at him pathetically with this Twilight Blade because I'm kind of out of other options, which is not great. I guess I can also be in that position of using the Enchanted Blade for 2 damage and trying to trigger this Delay the Inevitable again. Or not Delay the Inevitable, excuse me, Dark Prophecy, but man, I don't like that particularly. That seems a bit poopy as well. But 2 swings with a Twilight Blade is also not particularly great odds. Just 1 up. So I guess we will do that. We'll swing with the Enchanted Blade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we will play a Dark Prophecy from underneath her. Lowering that by 1, so 6 against 6. Oh, but then we're just getting the skull that gets us -1. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So I think maybe we're forced to swing with the Twilight Blade a couple times. 7 against 6. And see what connects. -1, that one connects. Not bad. We'll try it again. Yeah, 7 against 1. Not bad. Alright, well, you know. This does put a Doom onto the agenda. Which is a bummer, but at least he's dealt with. So we do get a Doom up on the agenda there. So that was Diana. Let's move up with Trish. This guy does not have a loop, so he engages us, and then we have to test 4. 4 against 4. Puts a Doom on him. That's annoying. So we'll just try to evade him for 6 against 2, I guess. That does evade him. We're just going to try to sprint for it to get this last one in. So we're going to take 2 moves and head up to the lobby. And hope that we can reconnect before things go to the shitter. Okay, so Trish's upkeep, she gets a Cryptic Writings. And then Diana's upkeep, she gets another emergency cache. You guys are both ready here. We're up to 6 out of 10 Doom. And then an encounter card for Trish is going to be the Call to Order. The top two, the two topmost cultist enemies in the encounter discard pile and spawn them in an empty location with the most remaining clues. So that's just going to be the one Knight of the Inner Circle, and he's going to go to this empty location here, I suppose. That's kind of annoying. It's kind of super annoying, actually. And then Diana is going to get another Vice and Villainy, which we're just going to go ahead and throw on, like, the Initiate, I suppose. Not a big deal. And then we'll look for the top three cards for our Azure Flame level 5. Hello? How many cards are even left? This is 5 cards left. So, like, these two, I did 2 searches at 7 where I didn't find it. Or a search at 7 and a search at 6, and now a search at 5 where I didn't find it. That is, that's brutal. So, Trish is going to play this for 3. She's going to move down to the cultist. She's going to go ahead and try to punch him, which is, like, really weird. But 1, 2, 5 against 3 is pretty much the best I can do. -2, so he is dead. That's really lucky that we got that. Oh my god, I forgot that I needed the Elder Thing key. Fuck, I was supposed to take an action to swap all the keys over to Trish. Or something. Oh no. What am I doing? No! God damn it. Okay, we'll just go meet up and we'll end it. I was foolish to try and get all the victory points. Oh well, what can you do? So we'll move up. That'll have him engage us. And then we'll test 4 to see if he engages us. He does indeed engage us. Okay. And then we'll take a move using a deny to make him not attack me. Actually, hold on. Let's first use an I've had worse to make him not attack me. Or he will attack me, but it'll take 2 damage. I won't take damage, and I'll gain 2 resources. In which I move there. And then I'll move again. On this one, I'll play the deny, getting my willpower back, gaining a resource, and drawing a card, which is the Azure Flame, finally. But anyways, more to the point, the investigators at the same location all control the puzzle box, the skull key, the cultist key, and the tablet key, and the Elder Thing key, and we advance. You know what? I could keep pushing it. Like, it's not unreasonable that I could get this now. Now that we're both over here with that guy, like, able to juggle him a little bit. I don't know. I don't feel like that's absurd now that we're, like, reconnected. But it still worries me to see what's going to happen. But, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do about this. Let's do one more Mythos phase and see what happens. Okay, so he attacks for 2. I'm going to deny that as well during the enemy phase. And this guy's going to hunt once. And we're going to get upkeep on Trish, which is a hot streak. Okay. And then we're going to get upkeep on Diana, which is a steadfast. So that's fine. And we're going to be at 7 out of 10, I believe, because of the 1 doom on each. No, this guy doesn't have a doom, so it's 6 out of 10. Encounter card for Trish is going to be Beneath the Lodge. I do get +1 difficulty and peril for each point you fail by. You must either lose a clue or take a horrible. Fortunately, I've got a assload of bonus clues. But I am 6 against 4, so I could just pass this. But I don't. But I think I lose 2 clues off this. So 1, 2. We're good over here. And then Diana gets an Impending Evils. We'll just have her take 1 and 1. She'll just kill off the Initiate. That's fine. And then she'll test this Vice and Villainy. 7 against 4. And it just goes away. Cool. So how does this work? We engage the Lodge guy. He's with us now. And then we evade him with the Well-Connected. So we're 4, 5, 6, 7 against 2. He's evaded and he loses the Doom, so we get an extra round to be able to do all this stuff. Then he's there at that location, so we move down 1 location and then we play the Hot Streak. Which is going to get us 7 resources, putting us up at like 21, which is pretty good. Diana's turn goes, she moves, and then moves again. She has the Elder Thing key, so she moves into the vault. When this is revealed, we place a random set-aside key on it, which is going to be like a spare key. Let's just choose to use a -1, I suppose. That's 2 moves. But for the sake of safety, we're going to play this Azure Flame. Just on the off chance that something really shitty happens. Let's not risk dying pathetically. Okay, so this guy hunts during the enemy phase. We upkeep on Trish. There's the Shadow Agents. Thought that was going to happen. That's why I wanted to get that big, huge boost on the Well-Connected. See if she can just evade him outright. And then Diana gets a Delay the Inevitable. Really was hoping that I'd see my last draw to the Flame off that. I think there's one more in here that I've been seeing a couple times, and I was really hoping to see it. So we go up to 6 Doom out of 10. Then our encounter card for Trish is going to be the Mark of the Order. Ah, that sucks. So we take 1 damage over here on Trish, which is going to go on to Rook. And then poor Diana is going to take 1 horror onto her Rosary, and then lose 3 resources, and then discard 2 cards at random from hand. Yuck. Delay the Inevitable and an Eldritch Inspiration. That could have been worse. And then that surges into the Cellkeeper. Any Sanctum location after he enters play, place 2 Doom and a random set-aside key on him. Okay. So can we get another extra key from him? And any Sanctum location. Well, he's going to be on the other side of the map completely, so let's just put a -1 on him. And he's going to be over here, and we're going to try and just, like, finish this. I was really hoping that the vault would say Sanctum, but it doesn't. Ugh. Oh, that's so painful that that doesn't say Sanctum. That would have been so nice. Anyways, Diana gets an Unhallowed Land. A direct horror. Oh, you know what? That's probably just going to happen, isn't it? Yeah, that's just going to happen. Bummer. Okay, 3 against 5. A -2, because there's a -2 on that, from that Cellkeeper. And so we get 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. No curses, so no direct horror to anyone. I think we're going to go for the safe thing. Diana's going to move over, engage the Shadow Agents, and move back. On the move back, she's going to play this I've Had Worse out from underneath her to cancel the 2 damage that would be incoming. And lose a willpower. And Trish is going to move over 1 location, and she's going to do a huge investigate here with the well-connected. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I think, against 4. And then she'll trigger her ability to pull the 2 clues off the location, getting that extra key. And then we're just going to go ahead and advance the act. If the investigators are members of the lodge, R1, otherwise R2. So we do get that extra VP from the key that we got. So that's kind of nice. In the campaign log, record the investigators discovered how to open the puzzle box. Any one investigator may choose to add the puzzle box story asset to his or her deck. The card does not count toward the investigator's deck size. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card on the victory display. We're going to put that into Trish for sure, because she can churn through her deck fastest, I think, with Mr. Rooks and stuff. Let's see how much victory it was in total after all. We got 1 from that extra key. We got 1 from Nathan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that it? 6. There we go. Knew it was 6. I was pretty sure it was 6 at least. So we got 6. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Oh, was this one a VP location? No, I knew it was the one that I knew it was the return to one. I couldn't remember what it did. I've only seen it once, I think. It would have been really cool if this guy had been able to spawn over here. That would have been awesome. But anyways, 6 VP. I'm pretty happy with that. I was surprised I was able to get one of these. This is about as well as the scenario's ever gone for me, I think. I've definitely had it need to kill the monster, and I've definitely had to just resign out of fear of dying pathetically when I couldn't deal with the monster that was going to come. So 6, I'm super happy with 6. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.